Have you heard of the expression like sticking your head in the sand? That's an expression where you are so unaware of the situation going on around you because you're just focused on something and you're just trying to ignore what's going on. That's what I think is happening in today's budget bestie. We've got a scenario where their budget is running into negative figures every single month just because of lifestyle. I think we need to help them, bestie. Hi guys, girls, non-binary pals, welcome to Budget with Ira. My name is Ira and on this channel we talk about budgeting, paying down debt and saving up for the life that you truly deserve. If that sounds like something you'd like to watch, please consider subscribing to the channel because we do have a lot of fun over here, bestie. We really do. In today's video, we're continuing my series called Budget Bestie. Budget Bestie is a series where people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do if I was in their situation. This is not financial advice. However, sometimes I can give some interesting information that may help them out a little bit. And I think in this one here, I think they're going to need it. So when I say the true wisdom comes from the comments down below, I really mean it. So we've got a lot of work to do in today's video, bestie. So should we get into it? So the context for this one, their financial goal is to become debt-free as number one, save enough for 12 months expensive and save for UK citizenship for their daughter and for them. So that gives you a lot of context in the fact that NHS is probably not available to them. So any sort of medical bills, they're kind of going to have to pay a lot for. There is a lot of outgoings and it is a lot of outgoing, so we need to really take a look at that, but be quite sensitive about what their needs might be, because sometimes it's a lot, and this is a lot. They do have a bit of debt, so they've got minimums coming out of quite small. So if they're wanting to become debt free, they need to be quite aggressive with this in order to get it down. So the context is that we live in London. It's me, my partner and my kid who is 5 years old on a shared custody with their ex and her dad. 2 cats, 4 fishes in a tank. I should hope they're in a tank, bestie. We don't have a car, which is good and normal for London. I have no family in this country, my partner does. I can't rely on my family for help. Instead I have to go sometimes and help because I'm an only child and they are fairly sick. My daughter gets sick fairly often but doesn't have special needs. So they've got a lot going on, bestie. And I can already see from their outgoings that it is way further than their income brings in. And the complexities of living in London as well is that their rent and their rates are really a lot higher than what you'd expect. So I think it's something we need to take a look at, bestie. So should we go ahead and let's get budgeting? Okay, let's get started with this one, bestie. Today we are using a budget sheet, and this is something that's available on my Etsy store. It is the full digital version of my planner. We're just using a random paycheck bill tracker page, and that's because this person's bills are significantly more than what you'd fit in the tear-off sheet. So let's get cracking. Starting with income, hope you can see it. There's 2 forms of income. So there's income 1 and income 2. So the first one is 2,700 and the second one is 1,400, which gives them 4,100 to play with each month. Now my next step is always to go ahead and do the bills. So I'll write them down now. I'll do that fast motion and I'll talk to you about them afterwards. Okay, here we are. So we've got pretty much normal bills. There's nothing that is all that alarming. So we've got the normal things like TV license, internet's a good price, council tax is good for London. We've got like loads of stuff for the pets, looks like normal price. This aquarium thing I don't really understand. I think they might have like expensive fish. This electricity thing seems very high to me. I'd ask about that. The health and life insurance seems a lot as well. I'd expect it to be probably less than £50 for 2 people, but I don't really know what health situation you've got going on. Obviously medicine is a thing there, because obviously if you're not British natural, you probably don't have access to the NHS, so you probably do have to pay for that stuff. There's quite quite a lot of subscription stuff here, and this one here is definitely something that we will make a massive amendment to, because two people vaping, £126 a month, that is absolutely ludicrous. There's no way you should be paying that much. But yeah, I've added two more, which is credit springs, which is to do with a debt, but you need to pay that every month to, it's a weird situation, but we'll go into that. And then you have overdraft interest every month as well. So I've added that in, and that brings your bills up to £2,608.58. Now that might seem high, and it is high, and it's because of rent in London, 1585, which is quite a lot. So anyway, you're left with £1,491.42. So let's take a look at envelopes, and I've taken some liberties here. So starting off, we've got groceries. So groceries, you say 500. I think for a family of your size, 500 is very appropriate, very good. That's £125 a week, which is good. Then we have this other one, which is kids, and this is made up of kids clubs, activities, and clothing. You budget £350 a month to that, which seems very, very high to me. Then we've got household, which is obviously cleaning supplies, toothbrush, toothpaste, and I think that's how you get your groceries down low, but you budget £160 for that. And then you have a monthly eating out budget, which I think is easy because you live in a big city. You say that's £100, and then travel. You give yourself £250, but you say you only spend about £100 of that. But anyway, you budget £250 and the rest you chuck at debt. This comes up to £1,360, which leaves you with £131.42. When we move over to sinking funds, you say water, you like to save £400 for the year for that, but you budget £0. And then litter, I'm not sure what you're talking about with litter. If it's cat litter, absolutely ridiculous, but I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to keep it in there. You say 300, but you budget £0. Then you like to throw at your emergency fund, £400 per month, and then couple funds, so things that you can do together as a couple, which I think is a really, really good use of money. You do £150. So what that all comes up to is £550. Now, if you can see up here, we have £131.42 left. So you're now at negative £418.58. So I can start to see where the issue is, but there's more. So let's move over to debt. So we have an Argos card. Argos card minimum is 67. A fluid account, which I'm not sure what that is. The minimum on that is 45. Credit springs, so credit springs, minimum on that is 50. Klarna, which is like you pay that however often, however much you like. If you want to avoid interest, you budget £0. And then Lloyd's, which is your overdraft, you budget £0. So this all comes up to 162 just for minimums, which puts you at minus 580.58. So, you know, buffer, we're obviously eating into it. We're obviously adding to debt every single month with this current structure. So I completely understand why you're in the situation where you are. I think you're overcommitting in quite a lot of areas, and we kind of need to make some changes. Now, let's remind ourselves of this Budget Besties priority. So number one is debt free, then to have 12 months worth of expenses, and then to pay for UK citizenship, which after a quick Google is £1,350-ish. So we are in a good place. There's quite a lot of capital available to sort of change things around. So let me have a look. Let me get my yellow pen out, and now let's start making some changes and making this budget realistic. So I've said a lot about the bills, and the thing that I don't really like to make a ton of changes within the bills, just because I think, you know, you've got your certain lifestyle and the things that you want, but sometimes we do need to make stuff. So I will make some very small changes over here, which will help out in the long run. So first of all, I would get rid of Disney Plus or Netflix or YouTube. YouTube as well. So I just have one. I don't, you don't need it all, right? Because you're not using all of it all at the same time. I know people that only have one at a time. So Netflix, they watch everything. When they get bored of it, they swap over, cancel it, and then get Disney Plus, and then watch that until they're bored of it, move over to something else, and then come back to it. Like, that makes a lot more sense for a lot of people. The thing that I will take a massive change to is vape. You are being overcharged. I don't know what you're buying, but you can get massive months worth of really good vape liquid for £20 per person. So I'm going to say £40 tops for vape, and that's including coils and everything. I don't know what you're doing with it, but that is far too much. But yeah, I'm literally taking very little away, but it comes to 2,501. So we've took £100 away, but it's going to be enough to sort of make a difference. Yeah, leaves you with 1,598.41. Okay, so moving over to envelopes, I think groceries are very, very good. We're in the right place. This kids thing, I'm not sure what's going on. So I don't know if because of your jobs you need to put them in after school clubs and things like that you have to pay for. I think there's cheaper ways to do it. I don't think you need to be spending quite that much per month, especially if you can do packed lunches, maybe not buy clothing quite as often, different activities, things that are cheaper. I just think that's like such a big amount of money. And yeah, I don't know, but I would take it to 160. Now, I've arbitrarily done 160, but you'll know what's best and what you can cut, like, from yourself. Yeah, but 160 is probably where I'd be aiming to spend. And then in terms of household, I think you're drastically overpaying. I think it should be £10 a week. That's what me and Jake do, and we go through a lot of stuff. I know there's kids, but like, toothpaste is cheap, do you know what I mean? Like, bleach is cheap. Like, you don't have to be, that 160 seems quite a lot. And then eating out, right now I would take that to 0, and I know that's hard to do in a city, but if you want to eat out, spend less on groceries, spend less on this, spend less on that. But that's sort of where I'd be looking at. And in terms of travel, because you say it costs you £100 to travel, don't budget 250, don't spend 250, just spend the 100. So already we're making a big difference and being able to do a lot more. So that now becomes 800, and you've got 798.41. So we still got like relatively very little money to work with as it is. So looking at water, if you want to save at £400 in a year, you need to budget 35, and for litter you need to do 25 for the 300. Emergency I would take down to 100 because you're distracting from your debt. So if debt is your number one priority, make it your number one priority and be able to afford everything as well. Couple fun I would take to 50 because I think it's a really, really good idea that you do it. However, you can do it cheaper. Yeah, couple fun could be, rather than going out getting a babysitter and all that, it could be after the kids have gone to bed, like having a bit of a takeaway together, or have a movie night together, get some like bath oils or whatever you want to do as a couple. But you know, for now I would be looking at doing it a little bit cheaper. Then there's UK citizenship. I won't do anything with that yet. And then you've also got your next goal, which is 12 months expenses. I don't think you're really in the position to do that yet, but because UK citizenship is 1320 and 12 months expenses is 9,600 based off of what I've done up there. But I will introduce spending, like, because it doesn't fit in envelopes. I'll do spending for you both, which is £20 each per week, £160, yeah? That now brings this to 370. We'll come back to UK citizenship and expenses after we've sorted out debt, yeah? So that's 370, leaves you with 428.41. I'm just realizing that you probably can't see this yellow pen, but I've started with it now and I can't stop. So here we are now. You've got 428.41 to play with, which means that you've got 162 in minimum. So we need to do an overpayment of £238 in order to make a difference to your debt. That will be £400 to debt every single month, which will leave you with £28.41, which would be your new buffer. Yeah. So what I want to do now is get rid of this pen, take it away from me, and flip over this page because we need to sort of do your debt plan. So let's get cracking. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to list your debt here from the smallest one to the largest one. That seems to be the best thing to do in terms of setting up the debt snowball. So let me do that. Okay, so this is going to be a relatively long debt plan just because we're not throwing as much at it than we normally would because of the commitments that you have. So because of that, we're not able to throw quite as much at it, but we are going to have a plan, right? So first of all, you have £50 that's going to credit springs each month. And then when you add your overpayment that I said in the last bit, which was £238, it gives you a new snowball of £288. Okay, so roughly, because it's £300, that will have you done in 1 month. Now, if you remember, we have a £10 fee to use the Credit Springs service. So as soon as that's paid off, that £10 now becomes available within the budget. So you can sort of use that on kids or pay for a little bit extra, pay a little bit for couple time or whatever is the right thing for you. So, you know, you're going to be done with that. You can clear that off in one go and have that £10 available. And then when we add that £288 for overdraft, that's going to be about 2 months. You're just over 2 months. But remember, when you have cleared your overdraft, don't go back into it, because now you have that £15 fee that you would normally pay available. So you're already £25 up to put back into your budget and do whatever you want with it. So, and that's within 3 months, if that makes sense. So next is Klarna. You're paying the full $288 to it, and that will have the $572.34 gone in 2 months as well. So we're clearing debts really quick. But now here's where the slog starts, right? So when you add that £288, 5 months down the line to fluid, let's assume it's still at the same rate because of interest. It now becomes £333, and that means that this is gone in 10 months or just over it. And then when you add the 333, once that's all paid off to the 600, you add your full snowball, which is £400, and you'll get your Argos card cleared in 13 months. Now, you might want to consider consolidating all of them into one to avoid interest, because this Argos one, this Fluid one, this Klarna one is going to kick out some serious interest if you haven't paid it off in the agreed time. But at the moment, you don't have a plan, and you don't have enough available income to actually make that happen from what I can see. So it might be a good idea to consolidate it into one loan, but there is still interest rates with that anyway. So it just becomes difficult. So I would be sticking to this plan and trying to consolidate, but you know, it's up to you. But anyway, this plan gets you debt free in 28 months. Okay, so that's 2 years, 4 months. And considering how much debt there is, so 5, 6, 7, 8, like maybe 9.2k, something like that. It's quite a lot, and to get that cleared in 2 years, 4 months is actually quite incredible. So let's have a think about what we might do once we have £400 available. So after you've done that, let's put this column here, after debt, right? After 2 years, you would have thought after saving £100 a month, you'd be at a place where your emergency fund is pretty much fully funded. So I'd probably take a pause from that, and then you've now got £500 to play around with. So what I would then do is I'd move £110 into UK citizenship, because if you do £110 12 times, that takes you to 1320, which is what you need. So on your 3rd year, you could afford to get all of that done. And then what I would also do is £400 towards your 12 months worth of expenses. So that's in addition to your emergency fund, and you can start working on that. So you can achieve all your goals. It takes a lot of time, but I believe there's probably a lot more that you can cut out of this, maybe even this kids bit here. I think there's a lot more that can be saved, but without knowing what your personal circumstances and your life is like, it's hard to sort of give you, you know, sort of quantifiable. But these are the sort of first steps that I would definitely take to make this happen. So you can clear your debt, you can get that done, you can make your, you know, your hopes and your aspirations actualize. You can do that. And if, you know, things change and you can sort of make savings from other places, you absolutely can do that. I definitely look into my electricity costs. I definitely look into health and life insurance as well, and I definitely sort out that vape issue, because that is excessive, bestie. Anyway, besties, what would you do in this situation? I'd love to hear in the comments down below. Hi guys, girls, non-body pals, thank you so much for getting through to the end of the video. You know I love it when you get through to the end of the video. Please give this video some love. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. And if you are going to comment, please use this emoji. What would you do in this situation, or what would you advise them of? Because obviously I've gone for quite a relatively strict but not that strict approach. Would you really start stripping stuff back to make a dent in stuff, or would you go the way I have? I would love to know in the comments down below. Thank you for getting here, but an extra special thank you to the channel members and the patrons who make all of this possible. I truly mean it when I say without you I would not be here. Patrons get exclusive content, sneak peeks and significant discounts off my Etsy store, so if you would like to join them and support me over on Patreon, please take a look at the link in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. That's all we have for this week, and until the next budget bestie, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week and have a wonderful budget. Always remember, don't trust Ira. And bestie, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Bye bye.